Talk about a more laborious but sometimes more effective way of creating a selection for a layer mask. And sometimes you'll need to use this method if you want super clean, detailed masks around a kind of an image that doesn't have a lot of contrast in it. I'm talking about the pen tool and using the pen tool to draw a selection. I'm going to zoom in really close on this image. I click on the pen tool here. It's got the little fountain pen symbol. Okay. And I'm going to start clicking. I'm on the Raven. It's a smart object. I'm going to start clicking and creating anchor points. I'm going to click and drag. Click, click. I'm going to click and drag. Now we could probably get away with using the Refine Edge tool on this Raven, but I want to demonstrate this way of creating a mask. I'm following, I am just clicking and dragging, and I'm zoomed way in. I'm creating a path that I will then convert into a selection. I'm clicking and dragging. It creates these little curves as I click and drag. It takes some getting used to. It's not, it may not come, it may not feel that natural to create a line this way, but if you can get the hang of it, it's a really great way to create detailed selections. Sometimes the Refine Edge tool will just not get you close enough. And so I'm pretty quick at it, but it might be a little tricky at first getting the hang of how these anchor points and handles work. If you do it right, you won't really have to edit the path after you make it. For these tiny little areas, I'm clicking more often. I'm creating more anchor points for more detail. Areas where it's not as there's not as many little details. You don't have to create as many anchor points. Okay. I'm going to forget about those little feathers sticking off. So again, it's laborious. It takes a bit of doing, but the results are usually really good. I'm clicking, always dragging. So see how the path goes right around the Raven? I'm going to go ahead and finish this quickly. I think I'm going to do it fast. Normally I would be a little more careful. And if you're trying to create a selection that separates an animal from its background so you can use it in a different background, then this might be the way you have to do it if the Refine Edge tool will not work. I'm going to quickly finish this and demonstrate how to use this path. As your selection. Okay, you have to close the path. So you got to go back to where he started. I'm not trying to get it perfect for this. Okay, I'm back where I started. I'm going to hover over the first anchor point and click, and now it's closed. I'm going to zoom out by hitting Control 0. And you can see all the little anchor points forming my path. They're right around the edge of this raven. Okay, I'm going to go to my Paths palette. It's right by the layers and the channels. Paths. See, that's a work path I just created. I'm going to double click it and name it Raven, so it doesn't get accidentally deleted if I do a new path, because it will overwrite the last one. Now I'm going to Control click on the little thumbnail. Now it is a selection. Go back to my layers. Again, I Control click, deselect, Control click. Now my path is a selection. Go back to my layers, my Raven layer. I'm going to do a new layer mask based off that selection. Layer, layer mask, reveal selection, because I have the Raven selected. I want to reveal him. I want to leave everything else hidden. Bam. Now I have a Raven isolated. I can scale him up or down. Because it's a smart object, it won't be destructive. And I can then adjust him as I need to by editing the mask more or transforming him in other ways.